First year as head coach, what has the experience been like for you through training camp and through the first two games of the 2014 season?
Definitely a learning process, just to try to put kids in the right position, trying to get them to be able to go and get them to do things you want them to do.
First two games of the season been a little bit rough, but what do you think you've learned from the first two games from this football team?
Well, we have resilience. I mean, we have a grit and we don't give up. We still kind of on that mindset of somebody doing it to get us going because of our last year performance. But I think we were going to figure some things out in the upcoming weeks and move forward.
It seemed like in the second half against Rio Grande, the team started to figure some stuff out, and you guys put some points up on the scoreboard.
Actually, we did. You got to have some kind of victory when in the loss, right? But second half, it was 20-13. We just kind of gave away points in that first half that we couldn't get back.
Tell me about your starting quarterback, and is he one of your main playmakers this season?
He is. Right now, we are going to go with another quarterback, a guy named Ethan Conley. He's a senior, just for moral support, man. I mean, he leads his team. So we're going to see what happens with that.
What do you like about his game? You talk about the moral support. What else does he do for you on the field, or at least from what you've seen in practice?
He's smart. You really can't, with a kid that's super smart like that, he allows you to be able to do some things that you may or may not, get from a quarterback that doesn't understand the offense as well.
Talk about your offense a little bit. What should we expect to see on Friday night? Are you guys running spread option or something a little bit different?
We continue to run spread. We have a tight end, so we can do some tight end stuff. But we're predominantly a spread team. But we want to try to instill some running in our guys. So.
Biggest playmakers on offense, other than your quarterback, running back, wide receiver. Who are some of the guys that have stepped up for you?
Our wide receiver, number 2, Jose Luis Ortega. He scored 3 touchdowns the other night against Rio Grande. Our running back, Leland Colbert. I think he had about 75 rushing yards after we got going. So we got a few kids that are some playmakers.
Defensively, from this group, what should we expect? What kind of look do you like to give teams? Are you aggressive? What are you looking for from your defense this season?
I mean, one, to come back from last year, we were one of the worst defenses in the state ever. So we have to get ourselves back from that. But I am super aggressive. I believe in trying to change the offense by how aggressive we come instead of reacting to make the offense change. So definitely going to be aggressive on that side of the ball, and we're just going to see where the chips fall.
Where do you feel like you have your strongest players at? Are at the linebacker, cornerback, D-line? Where are some of your best players on defense?
The defensive line is really, really good. The secondary positions, we're a little young. We are getting better every week, and those kids are getting smarter on the ball. So, but if I had to say the best position, our D-line is our most veteran group.
Albuquerque schools always kind of have the interesting part where sometimes they either don't have a road trip or they have one road trip this season. This will be your guys' one trip outside of the metro area. As a coach, do you kind of like the challenge of heading out on the road and facing some teams outside of the Albuquerque area?
I actually do. I mean, I think it actually brings a team together because that's all you usually have. When you go on a road trip, such as to Alamogordo, you want as much fan support as possible, but you know you're not going to get a whole lot. So as a team, you have to kind of bond together to overcome adversity.
I hear that from a lot of coaches that just even the bus ride and being together for 3.5 hours, something like that, makes a difference.
It does. I mean, you don't have all those distractions that you have at school throughout the day, or like on Thursday of last week when we played Rio Grande, we had a shelter in place. So we had the bomb squad at our school and all this other stuff. When you travel, you don't have those distractions.
Challenge of playing a team coming in on homecoming night. I hear from different coaches, sometimes they like playing a team on their homecoming because there's some distractions there. For you as a coach, does that make any difference to you at all when you go into going into a place where they're playing their homecoming?
Well, the thing about homecoming that you always think about is why you're the homecoming game. So for me, it's kind of a motivator for my kids because usually, if you're a homecoming game and that's a game they think they can win, you want to press that point. You are a homecoming game because that team feels like they can beat you. So you got to step up and play.
Tell me about, you guys are switching districts this year. You guys move into that district with El Dorado and Sandia and that group. What's your expectations going into that? We know how talented that group of teams usually is.
We got to take one game at a time, but I think we can compete with any team. We haven't shown it over the first 2 weeks because of whatever, but I think we can compete with any team as long as we get ourselves going. The district change doesn't hurt us at all.
Start at the beginning of the year and heading throughout the rest of the year. What are your expectations for this group? Is it a win-loss expectation, or are you looking for certain things for the guys to get better going throughout the year?
Both. Most importantly, I want my guys to gain confidence. Get that confidence back. That again, we can beat any team at any point, but we also know we got to go play to beat any team at any point. You do want to win. Winning helps you recruit. Winning helps you get kids out from in the halls because they want to be a part of something that's winning. And winning in football also sets the year off right as far as school goes, because if you're winning there, everybody's excited. They're going to class. They want to be a part of, be around. It just helps everything about your school when you win.
You touched on something there, and we don't get a chance to talk to Albuquerque area football coaches very often. But the challenge of being in a district that is open enrollment and trying to have kids that will play at your school. What is it like coaching in the Albuquerque area at a football program? Tell me about that experience.
Well, it's difficult, especially from a school like with Highland, because we only have YAFL programs down here. So at Highland we have 2 YAFL programs, whereas if you go to Manzano, they have all 6, or Sandia, places like that. So they got a little bit more feeding into. A lot of times we get a lot of kids that have never played the game of football ever as freshmen. Our freshman team this year, 42 kids that we got to come out. Only 5 of them had played football prior to this year. So it's always a learning experience. It's teaching. It's a lot of teaching involved. So you have to give up a lot of time to your freshman group to get them ready and right to compete. And you have to always be in their ear, let them know. You haven't had a lot of experience on that side of the ball. On playing football. So you got to learn it. Once you learn it, you're only going to get better. So.
Well, and I have to imagine for you as a teacher and as a coach, when you see those guys when they're juniors and seniors, that's got to be very rewarding when they're out there playing football and playing well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have about 15 seniors on my team this year, and of those 15, I would say 11 didn't play football until they were freshmen in high school. The other 4 had participated prior to high school. So to see the growth of those kids, even though we hadn't performed as well as we wanted to in the past couple of years as a unit, Highland, to see their growth is amazing.